Well, we've seen this before. The Diamondbacks get walked off in the ninth inning, and I have no idea why no ninth inning of a Diamondbacks game can ever be normal. We have more on the loss and Shelby Miller giving up those 2 home runs. We also have 2 mystery guests that are a complete surprise to me. So hold on, strap in, and don't you go anywhere. We'll be starting in 30 seconds. Welcome in to another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast right here on PHNX. You know what that music means. That music means something tragic and terrible happened to the Diamondbacks tonight. Once again, the Diamondbacks blew a lead and lost a game that they probably should have won. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX. Of course, welcome in to you all. Of course, this show is brought to you by our friends at Bet365 and Game Time. Make sure to download that Bet365 app and use our code of PHNX365 when you sign up to get some bonus bets over at Game Time. Use PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. I am joined, as always, by the one, the only, the incomparable Damon Dog with a DAWG at the end. And even his good luck couldn't overcome the ninth inning tonight for the Diamondbacks. Shelby Miller gives up 2 home runs and blows the game, and we are going to talk about it. But we are experiencing a little thing we call Spirit Week around here. We definitely have spirit. Yes, we do. We have spirit. How about you? Well, part of Spirit Week is today's show, and we have ourselves not one, but 2 mystery guests, as today is Mystery Guest Day. And I'm very excited because this mystery is even a mystery to me. Damon knows who it is. I have no idea who it is, but I'm ready to go. Damon, let's bring in our mystery guest.
Hi, Derek.
Oh my God, let's go. Jacob. Oh, I wish you were here under happier circumstances, bud. Oh man, the one, the only Jacob Franklin. Welcome in, sir. First of all, happy belated Father's Day. I know you have a lot going on there in your household, so thank you for all of your fatherly duties. But the Diamondbacks blew another one, man. What is with this bullpen, and why can't anything be good for us? Why can't anything be nice for us, Jacob?
Well, I think we're far too happy right now. Like you said,
Right.
I wish I was.
I'm just excited to see you. What can I say?
Yeah.
It turned everything around for me, but it's great to see you.
Yeah. I actually, I might take a little blame for this in my head as I was sitting there watching the ninth inning. He gets the first out, and I said, my first post game back in like over a year, and I'm going to join for a win. This is going to be so great. And then I think I just texted the F word to Damon, and that was all I said. And then I joined the show.
Yeah, Diamondbacks lose this one by a score of 5-4. They're back down to 500, unfortunately. And it's the thing that we've experienced entirely too much this year, Jacob. 23 blown leads this season, which leads all of Major League Baseball. And they are 11-13 now in 1-run games, which we know the Diamondbacks can't really hold on to these close games. And obviously the record reflects that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty abundantly clear, the answer to what Hazen was saying on the interview when he said that they were going to be targeting pieces at the deadline, that he felt this team was too good to kind of waste away the talent that they had. Very clearly, they need back-end bullpen help. Yeah. I'm not sure what the price will be. I think they're in a pretty unfortunate circumstance that people just know that that's what they're going to be shopping for, and so it's much easier for teams to drive the price up a little bit. If they know specifically that you are not a good baseball team unless you go out and get another couple arms for the back end of that bullpen. Yeah. It has been hard to watch. I was doing a little research while I was waiting for the show to start, and I found a couple really interesting numbers. You pointed out, obviously, 23 blown leads. I believe this was actually their 14th blown save of the year, which is good for top 10 in baseball in terms of blown saves, but actually, ironically, right at league average for percentage of saves that have been blown. So that tells you how many close games that this team has
Sure,
played
sure.
because they have an abundant number of saves as well to go with blown saves.
No, you're absolutely right. And I mean, honestly, it's one of those situations where it's sitting at 36 and 36 right now. We're not even going to send little Perdomo up the mountain. That you take less than half of those blown leads and convert them into wins, and this season's completely different. We've played this game entirely too much, though. Fosh, we've done it with the relief pitching. When we do an at a glance and we take a look at an opposing team's bullpen and see that bullpen has a 4 ERA, 3.46 ERA. They're somewhere in the middle. All you could think is, what if we had a mediocre average bullpen? Because if we did, I do feel like, a lot of these blown leads would be converted back into wins and this team could hold a lead. Of course, Thunderbolt 47, you remember, he's still not happy. He still hates this team and nothing's changed.
Never happy.
But he said not enough offense in the chat. And I think that's something that we've kind of gotten spoiled by, to be quite honest. I mean, we just expect this team now to constantly have to outscore the opponent. And to be fair, being up by 4-2 at one point in this game is what some baseballs are able to do. But baseball teams are able to do. They are able to have a game where they gain a 2-run lead and then they can hold it for the remaining of the game. I know baseball is changing. I know that's less common now for a game to go that way, but I don't know what it is to have games go that way. I don't know what normalcy is in a baseball team that can achieve a lead and then hold it for the rest of the game. We've seen it happen to the Diamondbacks plenty of times where they go down and never really come back in the game, but they do have 16 comeback wins this year. So again, we know this team has no problem coming back late. Offense today just wasn't very active. No home runs. They just had 3 extra base hits, which were all doubles, I believe. And there were a whole lot of hit batters in this game. Both pitchers definitely woke up and chose violence today, but Brandon Pfaadt it specifically chose violence today. I guess we could go into that because that's probably the big story was Brandon Pfaadt in this one, Jacob. He couldn't really hit his location on left-handed hitters, and when he was hitting his location, it involved hitting those batters that were left-handed batters. He hit 3 batters in this game, including 2 in 1 inning. In fact, he walked loaded the bases, right, on hit batters and walks. He hits one batter, walks a guy, hits another batter, and the bases are loaded. And I mean, again, it was a better outing for Pfaadt today, but he just definitely didn't have his best stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say there was definitely, I mean, anything's better than 8 runs and no outs. So it's,
it's hard to
we
call that a yes hitter around here. We call that a yes hitter around here.
Yeah, hard to get worse. It is super interesting. I mean, he found some spots, but it was it wasn't like he was 100% erratic, and it wasn't like he was 100% spot on. Like, it was just very, very weird to watch. This whole game just kind of felt that way, where it was there was just a super awkward balance of the way that things were going. It never really felt like we were in the lead, even though we took that lead. It was just as soon as Naylor got the hit that, into center field, it was like their center fielder goes down. Naylor walks all the way out to center field. The game was just really, really awkward from a vibes perspective. And I think Brandon Pfaadt it was hard for him to settle into a rhythm, I think, as well, which might have factored into that. But, I'll take what we can get at this point. Any marginal improvement to somebody that we know is actually a strike merchant, loves to throw strikes. And seeing him as erratic as he has been recently something doesn't seem right there.
You're right. And it's worrisome. It's concerning. At least today, though, again, he gave the Diamondbacks some more length, but he was pulled at, I believe, 81 pitches, and it didn't feel like Torrey definitely trusted him to go up against the lefties again in the lineup. It seemed like a pretty good call. Backus comes in, gets him out of the inning without allowing a run there. But yeah, his day was cut a little short. He did throw a good mix of pitches. We have his pitch chart here. He threw his four seam 30% of his outing, 27% he threw the sinker. He threw the sweeper 22% of the time, curveball 11%, changeup 10%. So he threw a great mix of pitches today. But he was all over the place. I mean, when you look at the spray chart, he really threw way more pitches out of the zone than in the zone. And again, he just really had a hard time with his command against left-handed batters.
Yeah, and just looking at that chart, some of the things that stand out to me, it looks like he was able to get his changeup down, which he's been struggling with. The sweeper, you really want to see that spray chart down and in on left-handed batters, and
For
it just
sure.
doesn't seem like he's got a feel for that right now. But it's funny, I was looking at this, and I was like, the last time I saw a spray chart that wild was Zach Gallen's last outing. So
You're not wrong. You're not wrong about that. But this game, of course, got away from them fast. Brandon Pfaadt, though, still not a terrible outing. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. And it appeared there that Torrey was pulling out all the stops in regards to the bullpen to win this game. So
yeah,
I know you and I know that the Torrey haters want to come out and they want to do the fire the Torrey thing. This one's not on him. He definitely managed this one well, and I felt like everything he did was working really up until Shelby Miller came in the 9th. You had Backus go in there and go 1 inning, give up 1 strikeout. Of course, Jalen Beeks didn't have a good outing, and Ryan Thompson didn't help him out, giving up that hit, which allowed that 1 run to score. But the Diamondbacks still had a 4-3 lead at that point. Juan Murillo just absolutely outstanding in his inning of work. He only gave up 1 hit, but he struck out as many batters today as Brandon Pfaadt did. So for that, we're throwing up the Circle K strikeout tracker there for 3 strikeouts. And those aren't Brandon Pfaadt's 3 strikeouts. Those are Juan Murillo's 3 strikeouts. Great day for him. But then Shelby Miller, man. I mean, we were talking to noted Detroit Tigers fan in the house here. What are we calling him now? Sweet Baby Noah? Is that what BCSC is referring to him as? I don't know. But
Big Body Noah.
Yeah, Big Body
Hard
Noah.
body.
Big Body Noah for sure. Was telling us that Shelby Miller, again, even for the Tigers, good pitcher, good reliever when you ask him to be a reliever, when you ask him to come in, maybe in a 7th inning, maybe in a high leverage situation, but not the 9th. But yet somehow, even when the Tigers tried to use him as a closer, it didn't work. Same thing. I mean, Shelby Miller still has a 2.17 ERA this season, but he doesn't have the most consistent track record with closing out games. And again, not a ton of opportunities because the Diamondbacks have used a lot of different guys in that situation. But we were just hoping, Jacob, just hoping that he would be the guy, that there would be one guy that could step up and give them at least a high leverage arm that we could count on with all the losses this year. We have the news today that, which we already knew, but we have a time and a date for AJ Puck to go visit Dr. Ella Trashe or Ella Trash. I know it's not that, it's Ella Trash, but it's trash. If he's going there, if your player's going there, the situation is trash. That's for sure. But it just really doesn't seem like the Diamondbacks have the personnel. They just don't. And I mean, Shelby Miller, again, he's been very good for this team. He's been one of the best relievers we've had in the bullpen. But again, it's just another situation where you saw him go out there, not really throw the right pitches specifically in this outing. People were talking about it, but the fastballs, to lefties and slider to righties, like there's just not, or I might have mixed those up, but it's just not, it wasn't his best stuff, and he wasn't really throwing the right pitches. And again, it's just another outing where you get the 1 out, and then next thing you know, 2 home runs later, the Diamondbacks are walked off by the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I mean, and it turned fast. I mean, you've seen him do it. You've seen him do a pretty good job all year of getting that splitter down, and he just hung 2 of them back to back. I mean, it was pretty miserable to watch, and they were both no doubters, I think, which makes it worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
There's a level of swag to that where it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
But while they don't have the pieces in the bullpen, they certainly have the pieces in the minor leagues to get a deal done for a pretty top end reliever. It just depends on who you're looking at. It's like Finnegan's probably going to be available again this year. He's on an expiring, I think somebody mentioned it, he's on an expiring $6 million contract this year. Pretty good candidate to go look at. Or you could take a shot on somebody else, but you got to bring somebody in. We know that Mike usually likes control. when he brings guys in. If he's going to trade away a big piece, I feel like he's always done a good job of. I mean, look at AJ Puck, for example. He was going to have 3 more years. Obviously, that took a dent through the injury. But if Hazen's going to trade away a pretty big piece, he's probably going to try and pull somebody that isn't just an expiring contract. Because the way Hazen thinks is he's not always just thinking about, like, he does think about, like, what gives us the best chance of winning this year. But at the same time, like, he's trying to set this team up to be competitive for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years, because that's the way a team should be run. And, I think a lot of people obviously blame him for some of our struggles right now, but it's hard to look at the bullpen. I mean, hindsight's always 2020, right? It's one of those, like, before the season started, we were all talking about how the bullpen was probably one of the best iterations of this bullpen we've ever seen. So people now being like, Hazen didn't get a bullpen. It's like, the same people were talking about how great it was before the season started. So it's tough. It's a weird situation to be in for sure.
Well, I don't know what's going on. Piece of Yoshi says MLB just posted the final score of our game and it ended like an hour ago. Yeah, that's very odd, but hey, that's because maybe they were as sad as we are to see the Diamondbacks lose this one in the 9th inning, 5-4. Jacob, yeah, you were talking about Kyle Finnegan there a little bit. People immediately in the chat had to jump on that and say it was a terrible idea. I don't think so. Apparently he just blew a save and he's had some bad outings. I say that just made his price go down. That's what I say. But the Diamondbacks need to do something, man. I'll tell you what, they can't go out there and expect this team in the way that it's currently constructed to be a contender. However, it's hard not to feel like adding one solid closer or high leverage arm that could step into that closer role, that couldn't help things significantly. Even in this game with a minimum amount of offense and a bad night from Brandon Pfaadt, the Diamondbacks had, a lead going into the 9th inning. And if they could find a way to lock that down and hold on to it, we're sitting here talking about them, being 6-1 in their last 7 games. So they're not far off from figuring it out. Unfortunately, though, they just don't have that arm they can rely on, that guy that can just shut things down. And to be fair to Shelby, I know Shelby blew it tonight, but Shelby has been the guy holding things together for this bullpen, to be honest. I mean, they've asked a lot of him, and so far he's delivered for the most part, but tonight wasn't one of his finest outings, and I still imagine that he's going to be in that closer role going forward. It feels like the Diamondbacks need to do something to add to this team. Again, I said about Paul Sewald, but that one guy can really change and impact the bullpen and have everybody kind of fall into place. And right now, with Kyle Backus playing some good baseball, Juan Murillo out there throwing heat, Shelby being as consistent as he has been prior to tonight, you feel like there are pieces there for this bullpen to be decent, average, better than it's been, right?
Yeah, I mean, Ginkel's got to figure himself out a little bit.
For sure.
But they're there. I mean, the pieces are there. Go add another arm or two. I mean, I don't think you need to go expense like sending Slade Caldwell somewhere to get an all-world closer. But
right.
Slade Caldwell,
one Drew Jones. We got Drew Jones. We're ready to ship him off. But Jacob, thank you so much for joining me, buddy. I appreciate you. It was great to see you. And everybody in the chat says hi, and they also blame you for the loss.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, I am the one at fault here. I fly out to Hillsborough at like 7 tomorrow morning, so I am headed out there to put some good vibes out in the high A atmosphere, and then we're gonna trudge on.
Stay away from our minor league players. I don't like that one bit. I don't get away from them. No, absolutely not. I'm gonna call them and make sure they don't allow you in the stadium. But
enjoy the weather, Big Jake.
Yeah, definitely enjoy the weather.
60. It's gonna be 60 degrees there on Friday.
It's miserable here. It's miserable.
But that you're kind of that vibe. Like you're like a cold weather kind of guy.
Of course he is. He loves his cardigans.
I would say like inches of snow, but I would say like, yeah, I want summers that aren't 115 degrees, but who wants summers that are 115 degrees?
None of us. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody, Jacob. Yeah. Nobody wants that. But we also don't like cold winters around here. So leave us be with our light.
You'll have to drag my corpse out of the state.
It's like 45 degrees up there in the winter. It's not cold. It's just rainy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, go take care of your babies. We appreciate you for stopping by, bud. We'll see you again
Appreciate
in the
that.
near future. Maybe not on a Diamondbacks game day though. Maybe we have to move you into the same category as Jesse, as to you only get to be here on non-game days.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair. I'm happy to join whenever you guys want. Just give me a text. I'm usually sitting at this desk from 9 to 5, as well as 6 a.m. and like 7 to 9 p.m. So, I'm around.
Happy Father's Day, Big Jake.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Happy
you.
Father's Day, Derek.
Thank you, bud. See you next time. All right. Well, we have more to discuss, even though I'm sure you guys don't want to. We're going to do it on the other side of this break, though. Don't you go anywhere. And remember, like I said, we got another mystery guest swinging by. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Of course, I could use a Wendy's Frosty right now. I mean, even in the bad mood I'm in, Wendy's Frosties always make me feel better. But right now,
Best
of course,
way to take the pain away.
it really is. But it's even better because they have such a wide variety in Wendy's new Frosty shop. No, it's not just chocolate. It's not just vanilla. There's a whole shop. Not only do you have the Wendy's swirls, but you have the Wendy's Frosty Swirl. You also have the Wendy's Frosty Fusions. Frosty Swirls are a twist on the classic flavors of vanilla and chocolate with a little bit of brownie batter in there, a little bit of caramel swirled through there. How about some strawberry swirled through your vanilla? Also, you can check out the Frosty Fusions, and if you love having your Frosty filled with delicious blended treats and mixed treats, you can check out the Oreo Brownie, the Caramel Crunch, and the Pop-Tart Strawberry. All of these are available now, and of course, they're available even late night. So make sure to swing by Wendy's tonight. It can help make your night better. Anyway, whatever flavor you're craving, odds are they've got a Frosty for it. So clock in for a sweet treat anytime, including midnight or later, with Wendy's all new Frosty flavors. A refresh on a classic, gotta be Wendy's. At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location. And we were talking about how hot it is. It's ridiculous here. It's so hot. Our AC is battling a losing battle here with the sun. But did you know that half of your energy costs come from heating and cooling your home? That means that, of course, you want to do everything you can to lower those costs. And you can do that with a smart thermostat. APS wants to help you out. They want to get you a smart thermostat. If you are an APS customer right now, your smart thermostats can work with your APS rate plan to maximize comfort and convenience while minimizing your energy costs. Of course, you can make sure with those smart thermostats, you can change the temperature on the go. Like I've told you guys, make sure to keep it low, keep it kind of not too high when you're gone, but then turn it down when you're getting home. That way it's nice and cool when you walk in the door. These are some of the wonderful things you can do with those smart thermostats, which you may be eligible for as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. If you're not sure how to install a smart thermostat, free installation is available at the APS Marketplace. If you already have a smart thermostat, go over there and see if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards. Find instant rebates, discounts, and special offers on smart thermostats, energy-efficient appliances, and more at marketplace.aps.com. Must be an APS customer and pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more information.
Derek, are you keeping up with this chat right now?
From my understanding, Cogs is in Canada.
Correct.
And he chose to use this opportunity to consume THC products. Is that right?
Our sweet
gummies,
innocent,
some edibles.
Our sweet innocent, beautiful baby boy Cogs.
I'm so proud of him.
He's growing up.
I'm so proud of him. He's growing up right before our very eyes.
You're proud of him.
I'm so proud of him.
I mean, I want to make sure he's safe. I want to make sure he's drinking enough water.
Did he get indicas is what I want to make sure. Don't take a sativa at this time of night, Cogs. It's like, it's gotta be like 11 PM, close to 11 PM there in Toronto. And I don't know how to break this news to you, Cogs, but edibles are legal here in the state of Arizona. So you didn't need to travel to a different country in order to experience.
Is it 21 here?
Huh?
Is it 21 here?
I believe it's 18 here.
Is it?
If I'm not, no, it's probably 21. I don't know. I don't want to throw that out there. Don't ask me. I don't know this stuff. I was old when weed got legalized in this country, but yeah, there's lots of good options for you to find here in Cogs. I will talk a little bit here about the offense.
Yeah, it
tonight.
is 21.
It is 21. Okay. See, what do I know? What do I know? Don't trust me.
Take advantage of that Canadian legal system, Cogs.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. How old is Cogs now?
19, I think.
Is he 19? All right. Well, all right. You don't need a med card. It's legal. You'll just pay more in taxes. That's all you'll do. Diamondbacks offense wasn't, great tonight. No home runs. They scored their first run in the 4th inning. Josh Naylor singled. Gino got hit by a pitch. And then with 2 outs, Pavin Smith hit an RBI single that scored Naylor. Cut the Blue Jays lead at the time from 2-1. Then in the 5th inning, Corbin Carroll walked. Cattell singled. And then a throwing error on the single by one Addison Barger, who ended up being the home run hitter and the hero of the game. That allowed Corbin to score and tie the game at 2, and that was in the 5th inning. Then in the same inning with 2 outs, Josh Naylor hits that RBI double. That scores Marte and gives the Diamondbacks a 3-2 lead. It also injured Naylor's former teammate, Miles Straw. He was injured attempting to make the catch. It looked like he might have hurt his ankle. And like Faj talked about there, in a beautiful moment of sportsmanship and heroism, Josh Naylor, who like rounded the base and immediately called for time so that he could go out and check on his teammate, ran out all the way to center field to check on Miles. And it was a pretty good, that was a pretty good move. I mean, I don't know. It was a pretty good move. It just goes to show what a good guy Josh Naylor truly is. And again, just something wholesome about that boy. What do you think overall there, Damon? I know Damon was attacking me for my good-natured enjoyment of Josh Naylor being a nice guy.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Up here in the chat, Piece of Yoshi said, to be fair, you're still old.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was about you.
I mean, I'm older now than I was then.
Yoshi's past history of liking to make fun of Derek's age. Well, when that happened, Derek got a little bit emotional.
Stop it.
And he started full-scale crying in the office at what an emotional moment it was for Josh Naylor to do such a kind thing. And in that moment, I told Derek, "You're getting old, man.
Yeah,
this is an old guy moment."
I believe the exact word you said was, "What would 25-year-old Derek think of you?" And you're sniveling right now, is what you said. You disgust me, I believe, was one of the phrases you used. Not a lot of notable.
That doesn't sound like something I would say.
It absolutely does. It's 100% something that you did say and said to me multiple times. Corbin Carroll, 1 for 2 tonight, 1 double, but he did walk 3 times. So Corbin Carroll got on base plenty tonight. Gino Suarez did get hit by that pitch, like I mentioned. I don't know. I'm sure my numbers here are wrong because at one point I just stopped paying attention to the game. Gino was 1 for 3 with an RBI. And overall, not a big night offensively from a lot of guys on this team. I will say, and again, I think I was advocate the other day for saying, like, I completely understand the idea of Geraldo Perdomo hitting in the 3-hole. I understand the science behind it. I understand that he is, in fact, our best hitter with runners in scoring position. I understand he has cold blood, frog blood. I understand all of that. The results aren't great. Perdomo continues to struggle in the 3-hole. He was 0 for 3 tonight. He did have 2 walks, but he did get kind of caught in a rundown there and got out on a base path. So I implore Tori to stop listening to his mother. Tori, please get Geraldo Perdomo out of the 3-hole. I'm not saying your mom isn't right. I'm just saying for some reason Perdomo does not do well in that spot. And for some reason does not have a great batting average or numbers there. Get him out of there. I don't care. Even if he has to hit less by hitting 9th, I still liked Michael Rokicki's idea the other day of maybe swapping Corbin Carroll, putting him 3rd, especially with Carroll. You know, again, his only hit tonight was an extra base hit. So Carroll is continuing to show that power. He's continuing to have a high slugging percentage. I say put Carroll in that 3-hole. I say lead off Perdomo and see what happens. Let's just see what happens. And Sean says it there too. Sean in the chat says swap him and Corbin already. And I completely agree with that sentiment. Alec Thomas had a pair of outstanding catches there in the bottom of the 7th inning. Just overall continues to be an outstanding defensive outfielder. And I don't know, but Elise in the chat says, I just don't want to get swept in embracing fashion in Canada again. We lost 1 game. Why are we getting swept? I know this one hurts, and I understand that like there's lasting ramifications. However, we also know this baseball team known as the Diamondbacks they're not very good after an off day. And honestly, this game was a fairly well played game outside of Shelby Miller hanging 2 splitters there in the 9th inning. So I'm not going to overreact to this loss. I'm not going to also overreact and say Shelby Miller needs to be pulled out of that role because I don't have a suggestion on a better idea for who could play there, right? That's something that we all need to work on in life. Is if you want to have a complaint, then come with an idea, right? So I don't know if you guys have a better idea as to who you would use in the 9th inning, who you would maybe call up. But for the most part, it still feels like Shelby Miller is their best option unless they make some sort of roster move, a trade of some kind. And I feel like what Jacob said is very true, right? The cost is going to be high. The forecast for the trade market for Major League Baseball is that it's going to be a seller's market and that buyers are going to be taken advantage of. It's another reason why I understand the position of many of you fans that want to have the Diamondbacks sell at the trade deadline. There are things like this that make this team feel very incomplete. And today, it wasn't just the pitching. It wasn't just Shelby Miller blowing the game there late. It was, the sporadic offense and the fact the Diamondbacks, I believe, were 3 for 12 once again with runners in scoring position and weren't able to capitalize on the opportunities when they did have runners on the base path. So it feels like they have shortcomings in more than one way that they need to address. However, I'm still not panicking about the offense. Archer in the chat says, stop pitching to Guerrero. That would help as well. That man was a menace today against the Diamondbacks. And again, just couldn't do much to stop him. But we do have to give our king snake for the Diamondbacks. And of course, I'm going to give it to our special boy, Josh Naylor. And it has nothing to do. Well, I mean, it has to do with his performance today for sure. He was 2 for 5. He had a double. He had an RBI. But it's the little smiley face or sad face. I don't know. What do you want to say? It's the one sweet boy thing there where he went out and checked on his teammate. And like, I don't know. It's been a weird stretch here for Josh Naylor. And I don't mean from the way he's playing baseball because he continues to be excellent on the base path. But I think that this is, Piece of Yoshi said you start sobbing and you give him King Snake. You're goddamn right I do. If I'm going to cry over you, I'm going to give you King Snake. And Josh Naylor, you're right. He does gain power in Canada. He did extend his on-base streak in this game to 20 straight games. And fun fact, Josh Naylor is the first Canadian-born member of the Arizona Diamondbacks to actually play a game in Canada while a member of this team. That doesn't seem to make much sense. That doesn't seem right.
It sounds insane.
It sounds made up. It sounds like I'm just making it up, but I promise you that's the truth. And also Josh Naylor, sweet boy, like I said earlier. But we have more on this game. Again, I know you guys probably don't want to talk about it anymore, but we're still going to talk about it more on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, of course, you guys, Pure Edibles. We're talking about edibles. And Pure Edibles is an edible you can find right here in Arizona at over 130 dispensaries, so you don't have to travel all the way to Canada to try these fine products. You can try them right here in town. They were founded in Arizona, and they were originally created in Flagstaff Noble Herb Dispensary, the home of Pure Edibles. They are now made right here in Phoenix, Arizona. Their gummies are not covered in sugar like all the other gummies, which Cogs can maybe attest to by one of the some that he had in Canada. But they are a full-fledged candy company with a wide variety of candies, including those gummies. They also have Kicks, which are like their version of Starburst. They have chews, and they have hard candies. So check out the entire range of doses and strains that they have available. Of course, their effects are clearly listed on each tin, so there will be no surprises as to what you're getting. And of course, those doses will be clearly listed as well. Each piece can be ripped in half or bitten in half to dial in your exact dose, so you know exactly what you're getting with Pure Edibles. So go find yourself some Pure Edible products from one of over 130 dispensaries across the state of Arizona, Cogs. Even though I know you're not old enough to yet. 21 and over only. That's what we found.
We would like to make that very clear.
21 and over only. We want to make that specifically.
Hands off, Cogs.
Yeah, no Cogs. You can't have any until you're 21. Circle K, though, again, great place that goes hand in hand with Pure Edibles. Go get yourself some Pure Edibles. Stop by Circle K. Get yourself a wonderful drink. Get yourself some snacks and prepare. Get yourself a stock. get yourself ready for those edibles. And of course, Circle K is America's thirst stop. If you do join the Inner Circle for free right now, you'll save yourself all sorts of cash going over there at Circle K. You'll save 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. You'll save 3 cents per gallon every day after that. And then if you're an Inner Circle member, you'll save specifically on Polar Pops, which you'll get for 79 cents, 99 cent Frosters, 3 for $7 Ghosts, 3 for $5 Gatorades or Gator Lights. And then you can save 30 cents off per gallon on fuel when you buy 3 Celsius. And of course, check out the exclusive Circle K flavor, Watermelon Ice. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions do apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Well, Damon, let's take a look at the numbers from tonight's game presented by our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union. Diamondbacks, of course, in this one get outscored by a score of 5-4. They actually get just slightly out hit here by the Blue Jays by a score by 9-8. Runners in scoring position, Blue Jays were 2 for 6. The Diamondbacks 3 for 12. Once again, subpar performance with runners in scoring position. When you lose a game by 1 run, it's hard not to look at that. And it's hard not to look at this consistently and say the Diamondbacks had plenty of opportunities to tie this game up at 5 and win it at 6-5, but they did not capitalize on it. Like Damon said, even when they were up 4-2, it definitely just did not feel like it was enough offense, specifically the extra base hits. The Blue Jays had 6 extra base hits. Several of those were home runs. The Diamondbacks only had 3 extra base hits tonight, and all 3 were doubles. The expected batting average for the Dbacks was .274. And the expected batting average for the Blue Jays was .324. So
it's about that runners in scoring position. That's
that's
how you lose it.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, like there's a couple of factors that keep rearing their head with this team, right? That's definitely one of them. I'm putting my hat up too high. Let me fix that. But
please, Derek, this is a classy show.
This is a classy show. I can't be showing off my sweaty forehead line.
Do you want to kick your feet up? Maybe.
Maybe. Look, I'm like.
Can I get you?
They
something
gave
to
up in the
sip on?
9th inning. I could give up before the end of this show. That's the way things work. I'm not gonna have you out here and put me on blast because I want to take my hat off early and show off my bad hairline. The Diamondbacks, though, yeah, runners in scoring position, obviously a huge problem. Bullpen ERA, blowing those leads. These are all the things, right? Like the ability to tack on and add extra runs is there for this team consistently. And what's crazy is they're still one of the best offenses in baseball. The Diamondbacks just have given up a ton of runs. Their run differential remains negative after this game. I think they're -6 run differential. And it's crazy because the Diamondbacks, honestly, there's only like 4 teams in baseball, Damon, 4 teams in baseball that have scored more runs than the Diamondbacks. Might not even be 4. I know it's the Cubs and the Dodgers and the Yankees. I think that might be it. That's the only teams in baseball that have scored more runs than the Diamondbacks, and they're leaving all of that meat on the bone when it comes to runners in scoring position. This team could easily be the top offense in baseball. They could easily have scored the most runs in baseball if they weren't consistently.
4th, I think, before this game even ended. But
right.
Yeah, they're in front of even the Tigers,
right?
For example.
But then on the flip side, with runs allowed, they've allowed, I think the only teams that have allowed more runs this year are the Rockies and the Marlins in all of baseball. Maybe the Athletics. The Rockies, Marlins, and Athletics are the only teams.
And now the Nationals.
And now the Nationals. Yeah. That's pathetic, right? I mean, again, it's the reason why this is a 500 baseball team right there. The fact that they are 4th in runs scored and 4th most in runs allowed. It's right, even Steven. No matter how many runs you're scoring, if you're allowing that many runs, you can't win a lot of baseball games. And the bigger problem has been the runs allowed by the bullpen, runs allowed late, allowing these teams to come back. And again, the Diamondbacks score a lot of runs late themselves. So it's like a Diamondbacks game doesn't really start until the 6th or 7th inning. No matter what the score is before then, it's irrelevant because things are going to pop off once things get late. But I don't know, man. This one isn't. It happened so fast, and I think that's one thing that Todd Walsh asked Torrey afterwards, like just how quickly this went from a win to a loss was spun your head, right? And credit to Toronto for doing it the way they've done it recently. This team has been scoring more and more runs, and it's how they've been winning baseball games. But Diamondbacks doesn't help the Diamondbacks at all in the ever difficult, ever changing NL West, which now features Rafael Devers out here taking ground balls at first base just to really stick it in the Red Sox's face, I guess. But anyway, do we have the NL West standings available, Damon?
I didn't want to do it yet because the Dodgers and Padres are playing each other, and the Giants are in a tied game in the 5th right now.
Yeah, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
it's irrelevant.
It's going to change very fast.
And
here.
it's honestly, it's irrelevant in general right now. I don't want to. Again, I mean, I've kind of joked about us scoreboard watching, but I think the only relevancy that this has is where are the Diamondbacks in regards to that wild card spot? Right?
3.5 back.
They're still not. It's still not dire. The Diamondback, in fact, I think it gets kind of dire after the Diamondbacks. I think the Diamondbacks are like 3.5 back, and then the next closest team is like 7 or 8 games back. So it's almost like the Diamondbacks are kind of the final team that's right now, at least, actually in the wild card hunt.
You're correct. The Braves are 7 back right now. The Diamondbacks are 3.5.
Yeah, once you start getting 7 and 8 back, you might start. I mean, again, the Mets last year did the thing, right? The Mets were that far back. The Mets were farther back. The Mets were one of those teams that we considered to be out of it at one time last year, and they came back and absolutely stole the Diamondbacks, playoff spot last year. You could easily say that, right? So the Diamondbacks are still in it, but you gotta stay this close, and you can't slip back into where the Braves are right now. You can't get 7-8 games back, especially with that trade deadline coming up, because I think that's what's going to change Mike Hazen's opinion. And he's a smart man. I know he came out and said the comments that we all wanted to hear him say, and I know he was sincere in saying those comments. I'm not saying he's saying it just to deliver lip service and make the fans happy and then turn around and do something drastically different than what he said. However, Mike Hazen also understands that if this team just decides to, stop playing baseball and stop winning games, then there's not really another choice other than to join in on the seller's market and try to see what you can get for some of these expiring contracts at the end of the year. Quite frankly, I think he would be foolish not to take those phone calls and to see what those offers are that he would be getting, right? But hopefully the Diamondbacks give him a reason to hang up that phone and turn around and make his own offers to other baseball teams. But we have another surprise coming up, like I said. Oh, no. We got BComC clearly in the chat. He says, I hate this team. Again,
talking ball.
Oh, man. When BCSC talks ball, things have gotten bad. So, and rightfully so. This was a bad loss. Diamondbacks lose this one by a score of 5-4. But at least for now, we still have our best players, which can't be said about every team in baseball. On the other side of this break, we have another mystery guest from earlier today that we are thrilled to have stop by to talk a little bit about how his baseball team broke his heart. We'll do that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Of course, if you are looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd, look no further than Brandon Bills. These wonderful hat company has you covered with the best custom headwear, and you can start your order and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. So check out everything they have to offer. They got this golf hat, which is widely coveted. That was part of a Diamondbacks night giveaway. They have all sorts of wonderful hats with U of A and ASU, as well as the Suns. So check out their full variety. If you are a hat aficionado like me, they have wonderful hats for you to purchase. And let me tell you, they're stretchy, they're super comfortable. And I don't know, there's not really a hat like theirs. They are definitely unique. If you are, again, looking to have your brand stand apart from the crowd, you can work with them on some wonderful custom apparel. And of course, they have you covered with performance and style. They're a local company from right here in Mesa, Arizona. You can head to brandonbills.com and use our code of BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. That's BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. Of course, it's also never ordinary over at Bet365. Bet365 is the place for live in-game betting. They pioneered live in-game betting, and they offer the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 different sports. Of course, today I got down on some bets that I did not do great on. Damon, I think I lost all 3 of my bets.
You hit Lourdes,
today.
Didn't you?
Did not hit Lourdes. I think Lourdes was hits. I took him for hits, runs, and RBI, and he only had 1 hit. So I took them over a 1.5. But hey,
I was hoping it was total bases.
We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. Like you can get down on the Bet365 app and get down on the MLB early payout offer, by the way, where you are a winner if your team goes up by 5 runs or more, regardless of if the bullpen blows it in the 9th inning, with an instant payout offer on straight bets and parlay selections, which will be marked as winners. So again, new customers right now can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use our code of PHNX365 when you do. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 or more to receive $150 in bonus bets, regardless of if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Well, Damon, we already had one mystery guest on today, but I don't just do things, half-ass. I do things whole-ass. So instead of just having one, we have 2 on today, and I am excited to be joined by somebody who, at least after tonight's loss, might be the only person that's a baseball fan that might be a little bit more miserable than us right now. Let's go ahead and get to that interview, shall we? Well, we have the man everybody wanted to hear from once the Rafael Devers news dropped. It is the one, the only, the great mystery guest on today's Mystery Guest Show, Sean DePaz. It was hard for us to even start because everybody in the office just wanted to come over here and crowd in and say hi to you.
I know. I miss it over there so much. Got to see a lot of, man.
We miss you. How's everything? First, before we get to the sadness, how's everything with you?
I mean, it's pretty good, other than the sadness.
Okay.
Boston's a sick city. Yeah. Hockey is going well. I miss like having a winning team to cover.
Sure.
Don't get that much anymore, but it's good over here.
We don't know what that's like around here either, so you're good. You're not missing anything in these.
They actually, the Diamondbacks haven't won anything meaningful since I left, actually.
Yeah, no, that's kind of how that works. So it was like that's why we had to bring Damon back to the show. Unfortunately, as much as I
get the mojo back.
Things got bad. Things were bad with Kevin as the producer of this show. But we got to talk about it, man. The Rafael Devers news. Obviously, it's a shock to everybody in Major League Baseball. But I've seen, obviously, anybody that roots for the Boston Red Sox, anybody that covers the Red Sox, kind of in deep mourning in regards to this. What were your thoughts when you heard the news, and what the hell are they doing over there in Boston?
I was alone in a train station, and I felt like I was in a movie. Like, I felt like I had just found out like my wife had died, and I was just standing there, and there's like all these people moving around me, and they don't understand what's happening inside of my head right now. It was a very weird experience. I mean, it sucks. I like, the best way I've seen it put is that like Rafael Devers is the kind of player that makes you root for a team. He's a rare breed, and so the fact that he is not on this team anymore is a tough pill to swallow, even if he played his fair share of a role in it.
Well, yeah, and I was going to ask you that. Overall, I know that this wasn't a great situation for either side. I don't think either side is free of blame, but it did feel like Devers kind of controlled the situation a bit more, and maybe it was a bit more of the reason why, that it became, what it became, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. I've talked about this on the show when the news broke, but Torey has talked quite a bit about how, he goes to guys and asks them things and sees what their thoughts are on that. And, obviously if someone was opposed to moving positions, we would probably never know that conversation took place, because they would have chatted in Torey's office, would have got the player's thoughts. If the player was against it, it would have probably gone no further than that, and that would have been it. But the situation with Devers seems, just from the outside looking in, not knowing him much personally, it seems very weird, and it feels like a lot. I mean, it feels like a lot was asked of Devers that he obviously didn't want to do, and then that became public, and obviously this situation became toxic.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of moving parts with it, because like, first, like, our manager Alex Cora is like known to be a player's guy. So the fact that there's still this kind of turmoil is, I think, telling. It's tough because on one hand, there's like the Red Sox fan in me that's like, you got to do what you got to do for the team.
Right.
And I mean, even David Ortiz and Poppy's come out since and said that he's been like pretty critical of Rafael Devers and how he handled the situation. And it was weird. But then there's another part of me that's like, yeah, you can't just keep like fucking this guy around. Like you like he said, he's a career third baseman. Then you ask him to DH, clearly against his wishes, but eventually he concedes. And then all of a sudden, after, as he put it, you told him to put away his glove, and now you're telling him to pick it back up. Granted, the Red Sox didn't know that their first baseman was going to blow his leg apart at the first month of the season. So
sure.
it's I don't know. It's tough. I think Craig Breslow, our GM, has been he's got trouble with some relationships. There's been reports about like other people that have been a part of the front office when the team was winning, feeling they've been shut out of the franchise. I don't think that Alex Cora really likes Craig Breslow. Right, he was here before Breslow, I believe. So like, I think a lot of it probably falls on the fact that like Craig Breslow is not great at managing relationships, and he ran into the wrong one. Like there are a lot of guys that will kind of bend the knee and do what they need for the team. Rafael Devers is not one of those guys, and you could love it, you could hate it. It just is what it is, and you have to know how to manage those guys if you're going to manage a team with 26 different personalities. And in this instance, it seemed as though they failed.
Right, and I think that there is something to be said about Devers' numbers over at third base. It's not like he was lighting the world on fire defensively there at third.
No, yeah.
You know, it when you saw the team bring in Bregman, did you think that like this was going to be a problem, or what was like your thoughts on how this would shake out with Bregman being brought in? Obviously, I mean, there's reports that he was supposed to play second, right? That was kind of what at least Devers was told, or that's what was reported that he was told.
I mean, like, so even before Bregman happened, I talked about how my dream scenario was Rafi being a DH, because like you mentioned, he's not the greatest third baseman ever.
Right.
But at the same time, once he made it clear that he didn't want to play third base, I kind of shifted into the, like, we got to keep this guy happy. We've seen this, obviously, like there's the Mookie Betts of this, where we traded one of the greatest players in the franchise. Correct. But there's also like the Xander Bogaerts part of this, who it's twofold. They let him walk for free, but they did this to him earlier in his career. They had him play out of position. They had him play third, I believe, when he was a natural shortstop, or vice versa. I'm kind of forgetting. And in that time, his hitting numbers were bad. Like they drastically decreased because he was uncomfortable. And so there was a part of me that's like, this is our best hitter, we got to keep him comfortable. I think, again, if Tristan Casas didn't get hurt and he was never asked to play first base, I don't think we're here. I think he eventually gave up on the DH, gave in on the DH and was willing to do it, and then asking him to play first base is what ultimately happened. So it's hard to say that I saw it playing out like this, because again, I never predicted an injury like that, but it was clear very early on that this was not a player that you were going to be able to ask the world of. He was a leader, but he was not that kind of leader. Like, he was a lead by example. Like, I'm going to go out there and hit the shit out of the ball, and you guys do the same. But yeah, I just think it was a situation that was not handled properly, considering the personality. And if you want to run your baseball team where you don't want personalities like that, then more power to you. That is what it is. I think the pill that's the toughest to swallow is that ultimately this seems to be largely enforced by the fact that our owner owns a soccer team that just had the largest signing in Premier League history, and is trying to save money elsewhere. He's in the process of selling the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's now shed our biggest contract in the Boston Red Sox. And I think that's what makes it more difficult, is if it was just egos on both sides, player and manager, like it is what it is, player and GM. But the fact that our owner is just being cheap makes it all, like, it's hard to blame anybody when he could have just, like, it seems like maybe that didn't even matter. It's just because he wanted to get rid of the money.
The return wasn't great. Some describe it as 4 players. That's what I've heard
4
it
guys
described as. Most of them not even in the major leagues right now. Jordan Hicks would probably factor in pretty well. Will he be a bullpen guy for you guys, or will he continue to try to be a starter? What do you think?
Probably bullpen guy. Like, our starting rotation is pretty good. So they have a little bit of a logjam there. But ultimately, he's not hitting home runs, and that's like you're not replacing Rafi Devers. I don't know if it's a Moneyball thing. We'll replace him in the aggregate. We'll replace a guy that was on pace to be top 3 in home runs, hits, and RBI in franchise history. Mind you, this franchise has. I'll give Barry Bonds his credit. I'll say the second greatest hitter in the history of the sport in Ted Williams. Like,
sure.
Yeah, that's not great. But yeah, I mean, the return is not good, but that's a consistent trend. The return wasn't good. Obviously, again, let Xander Bogaerts walk. The return for Mookie Betts wasn't good. The return for Chris Sale wasn't good. Like, it's a trend of them mismanaging these things, which for a team that has won more World Series this century than any other franchise, 3 more than the New York fucking Yankees, thank you very much. That's a tough thing to reconcile with. Like, they are...
For sure.
They're only, well, I guess at this point, it's 7 years removed from winning a World Series. But, like, again, they've been successful.
So weird that, like, you got, like, the Boston Red Sox are a large market team. Like, these are not the kind of moves that a team like the Red Sox typically make. I understand that there's a lot of factors going into this, right? But how infuriating will it be for you to see Devers potentially play first for the Giants? Will that really make you kick a hole in the wall, or how? Do you not care at this point?
I mean, it's kind of like it's like whatever. Like take me. Like I don't give a shit at this point.
Of course he will. Of course, like he'll play outfield. He'll pitch. He'll do whatever they want.
He'll play shortstop. Sure. I mean, that was like it. Yeah, because again, it's not. It's clear that it wasn't like he refused to play first base. It was that he refused to play first base under the circumstances under which he was asked and by the people who he was asked.
Sure.
And if you have that, like, I'm not going to tell a grown man how he should like treat other I guess I will, like, how those relationships are supposed to work. Like, if you have that problem, like, that's up to you. And so, like, yeah, if he's going to play here because he's in a better situation where he feels like they actually care about him, then that's his prerogative. And ultimately that falls back onto the Boston Red Sox. I don't want it for you. Well, honestly, you might want it. It's better than him DHing because, again, he's not a very proficient defensive player, and he's never played first base before. Obviously, it's not like the hardest position to play, but, I mean, the Arizona Diamondbacks know better than anybody what high-quality defensive first base can look like.
We miss
maybe
not,
so maybe not anymore, but at a point.
Put some respect on Josh Naylor's name.
I respect him. He does fine, but he's not a Gold Glover. But sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't even care. Like, I hope he goes. It's going to be like Mookie Betts. Like, him and Devers are going to end up getting their numbers retired by these teams, and it's just going to be like, look at us losers. Like, I'm embarrassed to wear the hat.
Can you send us somebody? Can we have somebody for next to nothing? We'll send you 3 dudes.
I said, give it 5 years. Roman Anthony is all yours. They'll fuck that one up too.
All right, I'll take them. Well, buddy, I appreciate you being here. Great. I'm sure a lot of people are thrilled that you are one of our 2 mystery guests today. But folks, how is What Chaos going? Are they treating you well over there? Are they feeding you? Are you getting enough water? I just want to make sure.
Yes, I've got a big Stanley Cup that my Buffalo Bills sent me, including in this jersey. They also sent me.
Yeah, you are getting treated too well.
I'm staying hydrated. It's good. Depending on what happens tonight in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup, I may be flying to Edmonton tomorrow for Game 7. So we'll see. Listen. I know it sounds like I'm bragging. Flying to Edmonton is not fun. There aren't direct flights from Boston to Edmonton. And the last time I did it was on a small plane with propellers. It was one of the more terrifying experiences in my life.
Do not want that. Do not want that.
Being on the ice with the cup would be pretty cool. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. All right. Well,
go Cats.
We appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for stopping by. And again, go follow him. What do you got? Sean DePaz, right? It's that easy?
Sean _DePaz.
Sean _DePaz.
They forget so fast. Fast.
I mean, yeah, it's been like a million years. Do you know how many producers I've had since you? Good Lord. Anyway, hey, thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Take care of yourself. Sir. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
Sean's the absolute best, man. An absolute pleasure having him on, and I'm sorry for him and his baseball team for what happened, but more sorry for us, for Rafael Devers. being in the NL West now.
We're also sorry for his nasty potty mouth.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, Sean, clean it up.
Be better, dude.
Yeah, you hanging out with those What Chaos guys, and it's just one F word after the next.
That's not what we do over here.
That's not what we do over here. We play a clean form of baseball over here. But we appreciate every single one of you for stopping by tonight. We know this one wasn't easy, but we very much hope that we helped make it a little easier before you went off to bed. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dog with a DAWG at the end. Of course, we are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys again so much for stopping by. We appreciate your time. As I've always said, it's your most valuable commodity. Thank you for sharing it with us, especially after watching your team blow a lead in the 9th inning. But we will be back tomorrow with another post-game show, so make sure to join us for that. Hopefully without Faj joining us, maybe things will go a little bit more our way this time. But PHNX Sports is labeling me a Dodgers fan, so it's time for me to go. Great to see my nips hurt in here once again, even though this game has no impact on the Nationals at all. But we thank you for your time. We thank all of you for your time. So, of course, we love you. Appreciate you stopping by. We will see you tomorrow. Until then, hope you have a wonderful evening. Hope you behave yourselves. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you have an actual closer.
We all silly like the mayor.